Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much for this nice introduction and giving me the chance to do the wake-up call in the morning for all the attendees here. Yeah, my name is Jörn Weber, and I investigate things. And I thought it's a nice title in this context. And yeah, let me introduce the company very shortly. So we do corporate investigations. One of our specialties is brand protection. So we look for counterfeiters, seller of these products. And I provide trainings on this internet research topic, workshops, currently a lot of virtual things, of course. And that's what I do. And my background, and that has to do with the topic. I spent about 19 years with the German police. And since the end of the 90s, I'm the managing partner of my GmbH, my company here in Germany. And yeah, so I'm daily in investigations, so I try to find out things. And as I mentioned, I work with a couple of tools there. So why do I have to do with regulations, with development, and with software? Actually, I see there are some connecting points, and I would like to follow me. And I ask you nice to follow me. I did it different in my first life, because there are definitely connecting points in this world. When we talk about investigations, automation, for example, you will hear later in a few minutes from me about this OSINT topic, and there's a very interesting topic about automating OSINT. So this open source intelligence thing, which is today really more meant to be internet investigations or internet research. But the OSINT is a nice abbreviation, and everybody is using that. And then that's the reason why everybody talks about that. But I will come to that later. So what I want to show you is these connections between these topics like regulation and compliance into my world of investigations. And actually preparing the slides made me really thinking about some points, and you will see later why I really should think about that. So follow me in the past. So the world of investigations in the past. I just talked to my CFO about that topic and said, what did I do 30 years ago or so when I did investigations? Well, I asked witnesses. I was sitting at a typewriter. I was performing interviews. I was collecting objective evidence like fingerprints, blood, or whatever. I think in the early stage, there was not even DNA a topic. And I was writing a report and with a typewriter. And so this images here show you not really my daily work there. I did it a little bit different, but that was the world of investigations in the past. I think it was also limited to people. So not everybody called himself, I'm an analyst or investigator. People, I mean, it was police officers, and of course, they were private investigator. But I have the feeling they are now much more. They are much more now than before. So that is the good old time. Not sure if that is really so good, but that was the way. The only databases, the only software was access to government databases. So is this person registered at this address? What do we know about this person, his criminal records? So internal police stuff. And I think that changed dramatically in the last years. And when we look on the world of investigations today, we talk about beyond that, what is still there, what I did this, or what my colleagues from the police are doing. It's still the same thing. They are still doing this basic stuff, and that leads very often to the success of investigations, of investigating crimes. But on the other side, we see in this world of investigations, the digital world. So this tools that help you to identify information, to find the things you want to find, And then the question is, what you found, is that really connecting to what you are looking for, to this person? Is that correct? Where does it come from? So this digital investigations worldwide from your desk in Helsinki or here in Germany, doesn't matter. You can investigate everywhere. Language is not a barrier. You use a translation tool. Not sure if that's correct, but why not? Yeah. Let's try it. It should be correct because it's from Google. I have no idea where the data goes, but okay. And so that opens up a full new set of possibilities, and there are risks associated with these things. So when we look on the today view in more details, so I mentioned this OSINT, so open source intelligence. In the real meaning of the word, it's done by security services when they look on specific information and gather information, and they assess it and they distribute it later. It's a flow of information from gathering to distribution, a very specific workflow. And it's, for example, when it's about extremist groups or terrorist groups like Boko Haram or whatever it is. And that was the source of OSINT in the pure meaning. This is still there. There are still OSINT analysts who are really OSINT analysts. I know many who claim to be that, and they have not even no clue, I think. So today it is the abbreviation for internet research, internet investigations, and in most cases used for that. So somebody who says, I'm an OSINT practitioner for 2 years, feels like he's a hero because he's doing this internet research for 2 years and he knows how to use Google Operator. So there's maybe more to know. So we talk about today about data. We talk about scraping this information. We talk about API, and I know Mayuka likes that topic, and we had some interesting chats already about that, and there's more to come, I think. And so this means we, as investigator, we want to identify social media profiles, find the owner of a phone number, shared friends in a network. Of course, there are business databases, by the way, really expensive stuff where large corporations put together everything they know about business owner worldwide. And they have all the different sources. And they tell me who are the sources and this kind of things. Then we want to know, did our target post something into an extreme area? We check the correlation of used passwords. That has to do with data breaches and this data leak things. So I come to that in a moment when we go to some example. So the question then is, what is driving OSINT investigations today? And that is really the connection of software and truth. I mean, is that true what we are seeing here? Is that the information we are looking for? And so I think today this data thing is driving investigations and OSINT and the source question and all those kind of things. So the digital data from the many different sources are the interesting point. And that is the connecting point also to your interesting conference today. So when you look on this data that's coming from all over the place, the question is, what is the source of this information? It starts with the Google page results. You see the description for this page before you click it, and people still believe this is an excerpt from this page. And I think, okay, did you ever hear about meta description? I mean, this has nothing, maybe nothing to do with the page. You will not even find what Google is presenting as a snippet. You will not even find it on the page because it's a different text. You will find it in the source code, but not on the page. And so what is the source of the information? Who developed the software? So there are different software tools now on the market that help investigators. There are not too many because There are other more profitable businesses, I guess, but the question is, who is developing it? GitHub is full of scripts from kind of reconnaissance things out of pen testing. That is a related area, and the borders are very unsharp between pen testing, OSINT, and investigations. So from here, the tools that pen tester developed are used by so-called investigator. And so it's full of that. And the question is, okay, who is this person developing this software? And can I believe what I see? So these tools draw a conclusion with their results between what you ask and what this tool is presenting. And that means there is a connection, and you think, okay, you may think it's okay, and then see that. So that's the risk and the challenge that I see. So let's check some examples. So data collections. I have seen a number of them live, and sometimes I was really like between shocked and interested. Of course, I'm a nerd, I'm a geek. I mean, I'm a digital native. I'm on the internet from day one, and so I really was thinking, okay, that is really interesting stuff. So what these companies do, they collect all these data breaches, all these giant leaks, and they do it for a different purpose than Have I Been Pawned is doing it. Yeah? They do it to sell their data again. So this data is stolen somewhere, leaked somewhere. I mean, the lawyer talked about the fruits from the poisoned tree. Yeah, so maybe they don't think this is from the tree here. So they collect this data, they clean the data and they standardize it, which is a huge effort. And they put that things into a database, and then the passwords, for example, are either used by a hash code, or they dehash it and unhash whatever they need to do to make them clearly readable, and then they link them. So you have a password correlation, and that is really interesting. And my example image here on the corner is from the guy who made a darknet site. He is not living any longer, so he's a kind of good example. What you find out about this person when you just use his email address. That was, by the way, the thing why the police found him, because this email address was linked to some stuff that linked then to him as a person. And I think he sent out some reset stuff from his darknet market with this email, which is Hotmail email. It was not a very smart idea, but finally the police catched him. So here the question is, so somebody is getting data from somewhere, put it in somehow in a database, and then people use it and think, okay, that's true. So this Gmail address is linked to this executive, yeah, and that is really a difficult thing here, and it's more and more really easy for people to do that. Yeah, whole countries are inside. So the Turkish citizen database was leaked many years ago, and it's in there. I checked it out. It didn't help me when I did an investigation in Turkey because there were way too many names. I said, okay, what does that tell me? It didn't really help me. Another example are people search engines, and I mean professional ones where you pay for a couple of $1,000s per year. So you throw in something like my darknet market guy here, and then you see a list of names. And many of them that you see here on the screens have nothing to do with our target. So the question is, who is the right person? And the question is, how can you as investigator or analyst identify the right person? Have you the capabilities to do that? And then even for this databases, the question should come up, okay, what is the source? So for example, on the right side, you see somebody from Germany just randomly picked, and they say, okay, here's his phone number. I say, oh, cool. I mean, mobile phone numbers are very difficult to link to somebody because we have in the good old times, we had those phone books, yeah, from each village, And then they were, from the phone book, it was up to a CD. I have still these old CDs from all over Germany here, so in case I need to really dig into the past. But today you don't know how to look up persons for his phone number, his mobile phone number. But they say, yeah, we have this, and the source is a mobile directory. I said, what mobile directory? There is no German mobile phone directory. So they found it somewhere. If you talk to them, they say, we are a search engine. And if you want to delete the data, yeah, you can do that. But they tell you, okay, in case we find your data again, we show it again, because you need to make sure that your data gets deleted there. And I said, okay, but there is no mobile phone directory where I could delete my entry, because there is no such directory. So you see, that's the thing. As an investigator, honestly, I love these tools. Yeah, they are really important for me. They save an awful lot amount of time for me to find the right people. And I guess I have the background to identify the links and to assess the quality and also the quantity and quality of those links to see if that really makes sense to do the things. So a really hot topic, software for OSINT. And when you get the slides here, you can click on the links here. There's a very interesting investigator with his key finding blog. Matthias Wilson is his name, and he started a huge topic because there was a new software coming out that helps investigator. You see OSINT tools for everyone. So why for everyone? Okay, but that's a qualification thing. So they started for doing everything in one place. That's the thing on the upper left corner here. And he then said, be careful what you OSINT with. And he draws some conclusions. I did not review that really, if that's correct or not, but I just want to show you an example, because they say everything you do is probably sent to Russian servers. And he then draw a connection from some of the people involved in this project to the Russian security service, the FSB. I know that the people from Empire are heavily disputed that and said, no, we have nothing to do with that. That's not correct. And he did not even speak to us before. So there were some discussions going on there. And I don't know, I never used this tool so far. I have others, but that's a topic here. You ask something and you get data back on your screen. And then the question is, what does it mean? So I give you another example for OSINT software. That's people see that and say, oh, that's fantastic. This is like 6,000 domains. And I said, okay, give me more connections to the 6,000 domains via Google Analytics codes being shared, by IP addresses being shared. And all of a sudden, I had 30,000 domains on my screen and could find clusters that you see on the upper area. So on the lower part of the screen, these are not really too much connected kind of networks. In the upper part, there are those networks. People think, oh yeah, that's really cool. That's one click and the case is solved. Well, I don't think so. This is software like Maltego that I'm using, and I'm doing the training on it. And there also always comes the question, what is this data doing? So you put in this email from our darknet guy here, and we say, okay, tell me everything you know. Okay, but whom do we ask? Who knows what we see there, and who sees what we are asking, and who sees our results, and all that kind of stuff. So very, very important points, I guess. Another example, and I'm happy I found that in my data, because it was a couple of years ago that I had this thing. So I was checking a German company, and I found a person it's in the middle, like it's a fake name in this case. It's like Jens Wanter. I said, okay, Jens Wanter. And I checked him out, and he was the CEO for this company for a short time. And I said, okay, who is that? And I didn't find anything about him except this mentions in this company. I said, I cannot understand that. Then I went to the source of the data, which is what you see in the screenshot. It's our German company register. And then I found out that On this one day, the old CEO left and the new CEO was registered there. It was on the same day. And then a few weeks later, they corrected that and said, oh, a little mistake here. And what they did is they swapped first name, last name of old and new CEO and did in the second and the family name of the old CEO also even a spelling mistake and created a new CEO. Fantastic. So now this Jens Wanter was born. Yeah, he did not know that. And he was now the CEO. And now the data was scraped. And you still find him today. So that's from yesterday. And you still see that Jens is the Geschäftsführer, so the managing director of this company for Company House and for North Data and Open Corporates. It's true because it's from them. Okay, and I think I just about to close my speak now. I want to talk to you or to show you also the risk of that. And there's a very interesting article post just a few days ago, the dark side of open source intelligence, and where people identify, for example, who was on the Capitol in the storm of this event. So what happens if people are wrongly identified? Because everybody thinks he believes face recognition and other software tools that are there. And if they say it is this result, then everything is okay. So check out this story here. It's really interesting. And in the final views from my side, from my niche area here, the question is, so what does it mean? So one thing is for me, for the users, they have to audit this service, this website they are using or the software. And the main question, for example, is where does the data come from? Where does your data end up? So you send something for translation, yeah? And who knows what you are asking? So how is your API key connected to a real company, to your person? And who made the software? And at the end, maybe don't use it if you don't know. And for the developer, I think it's very important to provide trust to the user. So explain the sources, primary sources, third party. So for example, one of my partners in the Maltego area that I work with, they offer their complete toolbox on the server of the customers. So they say, okay, we have no problem. You can use it there. Of course, it's really expensive and nothing for people that just do hobby investigations, but it's possible. So it's closed. It's very good for law enforcement, for example. So show this people who are you, how you secure the data flow, and offer them possibilities to stay anonymous in the usage. So I think it's a really interesting area in the investigation world, but there are so many fantastic tools and I cannot come up with spending enough time to explore them. But I really think it takes a lot of time before you use it. And so with that, thank you very much for your attention. I wish you a fantastic day with this very interesting conference. And I think I will be back in a few minutes or a few hours for the panel. Thanks a lot.